Well, I always think that Morph's games are pretty fun to watch. Maybe it is because of the accent. I don't really know, but either way, he's very entertaining to me. I find him to be one of the best all-around commentators of the contestants. I think I score him equally in all the different categories that I use, and it works out that way where he just does pretty well overall. And I got to say, one of the clips that I picked out was where he starts going on talking about the player's chi, Guemchi's chi, and I thought it was a great metaphor for what was going on in the game at the moment because he really was messing with his chi. He was imposing his will on him, and Chi's chi was just all over the place in response. So thumbs up to that, man.
Simmered off, let his opponent throw him off, you know. Oddly enough, it's interesting that he has, that I've been deciding to call him Chi, because that's exactly what Lead has been doing. He's been messing with his Chi, he's been throwing his Chi all out of whack, and thus he is not able to fully perform. And now the Vultures go in, take down some probes there, and then move into the natural again. And once again, Chi's just not able to stop it. You know, he has been winning this matchup with vultures, man. You're dragoons. You're not supposed to get pwned by vultures.
Peanut, I gotta agree with you again on the seasickness. I also caught the fact that he kept wanting to tell us stuff, and then he kept interrupting himself. And while it's good to interrupt yourself sometimes to go into a play-by-play, you know, I almost felt like we never got to hear what it was he was going to tell us. And I left the commentary like, damn it, man, tell me what you wanted to tell me. And I was a little upset that I never really found out.
I'll disagree with that on a little.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm the worst offender in that regard of the seasickness, of going back and forth and interrupting. I think it's just kind of a collusion. It's collateral damage in commentating sometimes, especially when you do it your first time through, which I think Morph did. The only thing I would say negative for Morph was that I thought there was he could have pulled back from the bigger picture a little bit more. He was doing a lot of play-by-play, talking about how the probes were getting harassed. He wasn't emphasizing as much the fact that Lita was trying to just hit Guemchi's economy as long as possible so he could build up a mass attack force. Or there was a moment where I think Lita took out a shuttle with his Wraith. And yeah, I thought he could have done better emphasizing the importance of Wraith. I think Wraiths are great as anti-Reaver harassment and also kind of the general overflow. But anyway, Lita killed the shuttle. See right there, I did it. See, it's collateral damage. But a Wraith killed a shuttle, and then Lita immediately did a counter drop, knowing that, or doing a drop inside one of the bases, knowing that essentially Guemchi didn't have anything to deal with the anti-air. He had no anti-air to really compensate, and I thought that was a little bit missed. But otherwise, yeah, this was a great commentary.
It was a little bit hit or miss for me. Besides the whole seasickness thing, there were definitely some excellent moments of color. Saying that that sly vulture, and that whole dragoons shouldn't get pwned by vultures. Those were good, but it was rather inconsistent. There were parts of the game where I was just sitting there saying, "Where is your color?" I'm getting kind of bored because he sets up very high expectations with his moments of color, and I don't think he can sustain them all that well. However, I do agree that overall he is a very entertaining commentator, and yeah. Other than that, and I don't know, maybe there were times when I felt like he was defending Lita a little bit too stridently. Which sort of turned me off a little bit as far as, is this guy an unbalanced, or is this guy unbiased as far as his commentary skills go? But
all right, let's move
well,
on
yes,
to the
Lita won, but that doesn't mean that he should be defending Lita all the time.
Well, I just say if he lost, maybe then he could go and digress and apologize. But otherwise, as long as he's winning, then all fair game, I say.
Looks like different theories onto how biased commentators should be, and I won't put my 2 cents into this this hat over here. Instead, I'll just Hyuk! I will actually move on to recommendations on hey Mr. Hyuk fan. I'll move on to recommendations as to what you guys think Morph can do better. Diggity, Peanut, then Rise.
I would say just step back for a minute. Go talk about what the things, not just the play-by-play that's happening on screen, but talk about how it influences the game overall. I don't think you did that enough, Morph. There was times where, hey, these Vultures are getting a lot of probe kills. This is going to slow down Gwemchi's economy. That's going to allow Lita to get a big macro advantage in just a minute or two here. I thought you missed a lot of that sort of thing. Where, hey, again, the shuttle thing. The shuttle was taken down. This is going to open up a counter drop for Lita. Just a couple things here and there I think you could improve on. But otherwise, yeah, I thought it was great. Keep up the color. The color was fantastic. And I think the flow going back and forth is just fine. But I guess I'm sure Rise and Peanut will comment on that. I say ignore them. I say ignore them.
Well, please do not ignore me, but I suppose that is up to you. You may take my advice with a grain of salt. I would say work on the consistency of the excitement and the color. You start off, you have very good intros where you say you make these bold sweeping statements, I was going for controversy and it worked, and you get us all excited, and then the excitement tends to drop. And I really think that when you set such high standards for yourself at the beginning of the commentary, you should really try to follow through. And also maybe next time try not to pick a game that's so long, because I think that was part of why you had to sort of cram in player statistics and map statistics during the actual play-by-play.
Yeah, I think that the game was actually epic, which kind of caused a lot of the digressions because you had to get so much into the play-by-play every time. But overall, I think that you did a great job. I think that if you're one of the contestants that you're just gonna have to step up your game overall to really improve, and to do that, you're just gonna have to practice more. And I think with practice will come perfection or close to it. So good luck.
All right, our next and final contestant will be Hamilcar. Hamilcar did an amusing game with two big names in it, Firebat Hero versus Luxury, in the Winners League on Andromeda, where Luxury eventually defeated Firebat Hero, actually. And we'll start here with Rise. Rise, what do you think of Hamilcar's work overall, and what is the clip you have for us?
Well, I got to be honest, Cholera. I thought that his submission overall was a little subpar. I thought that he had a very disjointed flow, and he could have done a lot better cutting out some of the uhs and ums and things like that throughout the entire commentary. That kind of leads me to my next point, which is why don't you just show the clip, and then I'll talk about it after.
Last thing, just as a service to humanity, I did one match earlier today, and then took a break, and then started doing this match. And in between, I made myself a chocolate orange malt, and it was I'd never tried it before, but it was surprisingly delicious. So I thought I should share that with you guys. It's very simple to make. All you do is take about 3/4 of an orange, skin the segments, basically just fillet them, and then zest about half of the peel, and then toss that in with about 4 scoops of chocolate ice cream and half a cup of milk. So you just blend it up and then stick it in the freezer and let it get a little bit thicker. I felt the need to share it with you guys because I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you will too. So anyhow, fortunately I was able to give you that information because not too much has been going on so far in this game. Relatively standard builds from both players.
What the f is that, man? That was ridiculous. I don't know what the hell you were going on about for about, I don't know, 20 seconds there. A malt orange banana split something or other that sounded disgusting to start things off, and two, has nothing to do with StarCraft in any way possible. And I mean, really, even if you were auditioning for Top Chef, I don't think you would have got in with that pathetic recipe for submission. Ugh, gross.
I thought it was delicious.
You would.
Did any of you actually make the orange chocolate malt banana split strawberry smoothie, whatever?
Okay, I'm lying. I did not, but I think it would be delicious.
All right, let's move on to Peanut. What did you think of Hamilcar overall, and what's the clip you have for us?
Sorry. Hamilcar was good overall. But he did have some issues overdoing it on the non-play-by-play aspect. He did mention in the commentary that people said that he should step away from the play-by-play a little bit. He tried very hard, a little bit too hard, and I think that affected the overall quality of the commentary. So in the clip that I have, he has some significant issues with his flow. and sort of struggles with the non-play-by-play aspect of commentary. I think maybe with some practice he could learn to balance it out a little bit more, but this was, I think, one of the weak points for me.
But he's also a good TBT player. But at any rate, this is sort of his specialty, and Luxury should be in for a challenge here. The other, well, let's see. Well, the other thing about this match that makes that puts Firebat here in a good position is that it is on Andromeda.
Diggity, what did you think of Hamilcar, and what's the clip you have for us?
I was amazed at Hamilcar. He seemed very, very nervous throughout the commentary, and I think that's something that will go away with time, and therefore I think I think we should keep giving him a chance, honestly, because I think he'll get better as Commentator Idol goes on. But I was amazed that despite that nervousness, you could still hear the gears in his brain turning. You could still hear the thought process going on in his head. And I felt that that was dead on. I really liked tracking his thought process, and I thought this clip I'm showing right here really emphasized that. He was really setting up kind of the emphasis that, basically, yeah, he was setting up the late game.
That it is on Andromeda. Andromeda has a relatively easy to claim secondary, which Firebat Hero is claiming right now, going for that one racks, well, 1 or 2 racks. I'm not sure which one down first. I think 1 racks into CC. Fast expand build, and it also has the internal mineral only, which is very good for Terrans going for a bio build, Medic Marines, because that's a relatively mineral intensive, less gas intensive sort of build where you can use all the minerals you can get. And when it's easy for Terran players to claim their first 3 bases, it becomes very easy for them to build up a big force and push out and prevent Zerg from gaining map control and limit the Zerg's ability to expand. So this is a map that has about a 65% Terran win rate in this matchup. So Luxury's at a bit of a disadvantage going in, and he's playing a very good player. So we'll see if he's able to respond and come up with something.
Yeah, again, Hamilcar, I thought you did a great job, considering you were very, very nervous, and that really flowed through. So I guess the only thing I would suggest is calm down a bit, and I think take some tips from G5. He's like the king of that. Go outside, take some deep breaths. Do something really, really relaxing just beforehand, and then get into the commentary, and I think that'll help you out.
Not too relaxing.
Not too relaxing. Maybe drink one of the malt shakes just beforehand. But yeah, otherwise, I liked your thought processes overall. I thought your analysis was really good, and I think you'll get better as you go. It's going to take some practice and getting over that initial kind of nervousness hump, I think.
Yeah, you should probably hang out with Smiley and Kenny. Maybe some of their chillness will rub off on you a little bit. But so besides the whole nervousness and problems with the flow and things like that, your syntax is excellent. You also have a great command of the language. You have these moments where you say someone is content to do something, or someone has been immune to something else, and those moments really shine for me. I said, "Wow, this guy knows how to talk." And I think you mentioned in there somewhere that you did debate, and that definitely comes through. You had a good recap at the end for Luxury's track record in this Winners League. I do appreciate when people have good recaps, so that was nice for me. And yeah, confidence. Find some confidence. I think you can look within yourself and get it from some inner wellspring.
Yeah, I think that the play-by-play is your strength, and I think that you need to stick with it. The color, let it come naturally, man. Don't force it like you did with the cooking stuff, because honestly, that was one of the most ridiculous things that I've heard in a while. And but other than that, I mean, just kind of chill out and let it flow.
All right. Well, although those all sound like recommendations, let me still get a final recommendation, having heard one another talk about them from each of you. Let's begin with Diggity and go to Peanut and Rise.
Yeah, I guess I went with final recommendations rather than overall my mistake. Whatever. Anyway, I still think that, yeah, just keep going. And I think even over just a few games, if you commentate, I would say 5 games, and then pressed on to your 6th. I think that 6th one will be so much better than this game right here, just because of the nervousness factor. I like the way, again, you're nervous, but I still can see the brain turning, and I can still see your thought process, and I think that's really keen, really sharp. And I think you're the one who will improve the most out of all these commentators if you keep following through and keeping the process up, basically.
Yes. I agree with everything that Diggity has said. I also think that you have a lot of room for improvement, but you can actually achieve that improvement in your flow, because there were times during the commentary when your flow was excellent, but it was inconsistent. And let's see. I also think intros and sign-offs are pretty important as far as setting the tone of the game and then sort of what you're leaving the viewer with. You can work on your sign-off a little bit. I think that goes along with the whole confidence thing as well. But you're excellent at talking. You are excellent at English, and I commend you for that.
Well, I got one recommendation for you, other than what I already said. It consists of 2 scoops of chocolate protein whey, a little bit of milk, some heavy cream, a quarter cup of oats, and half a banana. That makes a brilliant protein shake. So yeah, if you ever need something to help loosen you up, keep your hands above the table, by the way, because I don't know what Diggity was referring to earlier, but try that protein shake. Maybe it'll help you.
All right, with that, we conclude the reviews. Okay, here's the moment you've been all waiting for. This is the part where we tabulate all the votes, and we tell you how each person did in terms of points this week. Now, I'm just going to briefly explain how voting worked for those of you who didn't get a chance to go to the voting site. The viewers got to vote for their top 3 choices. Their first choice was given 5 points, their second choice was given 3 points, and their third choice was given 1 point. The judges each have 10% of the total amount of views. So basically, we took the total number of votes divided by 7 and allotted it based on that. So each of them still have the same point combination, except that they're worth a whole lot more than each of you are. That's why they're judges. Anyway, with no further ado, with 316 people voting, here are our points from the viewers. Boom! As you can see from here, we have Smiley on top, Morph, Hazel, Kenny, Hamilcar, and Park X following. So based on viewers alone, Park X would be eliminated and Smiley would have the highest number of points. But let's move on now to the points from the judges. Remember, each judge was the equivalent of 45 normal voters. That's 1/7 of the total suffrage. And here are the results from the judges. Boom! So, Park X received 495 points from the judges total. Morph 1081 received 360 points, Kenny and Smiley received 135 points each, and Hazel and Hamilcar received 45 points each from the judges. Now note that judges' votes were all done in secret. We won't reveal who voted for whom, and they also did not know the results of your votes before casting theirs. So everything will remain secret about them, and they didn't know any of this. Anyway, moving on now to the final votes. Here we go. From the top downwards. Our top finisher this week was Morph 1081 with 917 points. Our second place finisher was Smiley with 802. Our third place finisher was Park X with 755. Our fourth place finisher was Kenny with 628. Our fifth place finisher was Hazel with 583, and our sixth place finisher was Hamilcar with 374.
Oh
no!
And with that,
I have saw that coming.
I have to announce that Hamilcar will be, unfortunately, the first person departing from the SC2GG Commentator Idol. And with that, I'll move over to the judges. Judges, what do you guys think about these results?
I can't believe it. I thought I was surprised at how far off that we were from the viewers. I mean, I couldn't believe that Parsex was the last one, and wow, I'm very surprised from the results.
Wow, that's really disappointing because I thought Hamilcar, especially if he just could have clinged on for another week or two, might have won the entire thing. Because again, I think he's just going to get better and better the more commentary he does.
I'm also surprised about Park X, because I thought he was really the best all around. Well, I'm surprised that the viewers actually didn't think so. I'm not all that surprised about Hamilcar because this is a very, very good contestant pool, and honestly, like, he has a lot of potential, but he kind of tripped up this week, and I think that was enough to sort of push him over the edge. But it is unfortunate, but I'm not all that surprised.
What do you think about the difference between how the viewers voted and how you voted? Remember, the viewers had Park X at 260 votes, the fewest votes, and they had, while they had Morph at the second most votes, whereas you guys gave a huge boost to Park X, gave him a whopping 495 more points, and you gave Morph a nice boost of 360 also. What did you guys think about that?
I guess it's I don't know, maybe it's just because we were looking at it a little bit more technically and less on a just pure, I don't know, I was still the most purely entertained by Park X overall. He was the one I had the most fun watching, at least this week. And I thought he had the best technical commentary overall. I'm not sure, maybe it's the accent that was the difference here for people, but I enjoyed the accent, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also not sure. I don't really understand the disparity as far as Park X goes. I also personally didn't like Morph as much this week in comparison to the other contestants, so I'm not exactly sure why he was such a favorite with both viewers and apparently the other judges. But yeah, it's I'm not exactly sure what it is either, because Park X was I don't know, it was very good. What he did was very good. Maybe like on the first listening he doesn't come off so well, but if you sort of take the magnifies to the commentary, he shines a little more. So I'm not quite sure what it is.
I think it's actually just from the pure entertainment value that the viewers had from each of these. Certainly, it could have been some people having their friends vote for them, which is always a possibility. We did have a lot of new registered viewers for the voting, which I could see happening. But overall, you know, we weren't that far off, with the exception of Park X. And I'll say that anomaly will probably get sorted out in the later viewings. Either people will continue to like him or not like him. And we don't have that much. I mean, we have a good amount of power as the judges for voting, but if you guys completely overrun us, we won't be able to really catch up or save someone in the bottom, especially in the later sets. So I think that overall, though, it was a pretty good representation from both a technical standpoint and then the pure entertainment standpoint.
All right. Thank you very much, judges, for all of your great opinions and your great suggestions this week. We'll be wrapping up this show right now with just the assignment for the remaining 5 contestants. In the next week, your assignment will be to do a replay commentary of a game between 2 foreigners. Now, we do recommend these foreigners have some name recognition, and for that purpose, we hope you guys can go find some replays from you know, any of the many sites that host them, from any of the major tournaments that are going on, you know, whether they be the ESL, the Fnatic games, the Stamina games, the Spirit tournament, all sorts of great foreigner tournaments. And the reason why we want you to do this commentary is because we want to see 2 things. First, how well you can control the observer in a replay, which of course is very important if we're going to be doing any kind of live commentary of live games that are being played. Of course, you would be the observer. And secondly, of course, how you can do with players who perhaps are not as famous as, you know, your Flashes and your Bisus and your Firebat heroes. How you can do with foreign players, finding some research about them, figuring out their playing styles, and being able to cast an exciting and entertaining game. And with that, I'll also announce that our next week's guest judge will be Chill from TeamLiquid.net. He's been doing commentating for a lot of Team Liquid events. He has a lot of strong and well-spoken opinions about commentators in general, and I'm sure we'll enjoy him along with us. So with that, I would like to conclude this week, the 2nd episode of Commentator Idol. Thank you very much, Diggity, for coming along. This is, and
No
of
problem.
course for Peanut and Yes, and of course for Peanut and Rise for being our permanent judges. I am Cholera, the host of Commentator Idol, signing off. Thanks for watching.
Oh my god, Rise, I'm going to kill you!
What did I say that was that bad?
No, why do
inviting to
you
the
want to
hooker
keep the
party?
stupid hooker thing alive? Oh my god, I am not hung up on the hooker thing, I honestly...